Hey guys, so this is Tom again. If you saw the big EDH video I had of Tomorrow's Zombies Familiar, I promised I'd do a deck tech, so here it is. Gonna try and keep this into one video frame, so gotta go a little bit fast. The general's Tomorrow's Zombies Familiar. It's 5 and a blue for a 1/5 with the ability of, if you would draw a card, lift the top 3 cards of your library instead, put one of those cards into your hand and the rest in the bottom of the library in any order. So a lot of the cards in this deck you'll see revolve around drawing cards, and which is great for blue. Aeon Chronicler, this deck has a lot of cards in hand a lot, so it's just nice to be able to have a creature that can draw you cards and then come in hasty. All Is Dust, blue needs a Wrath of God once or twice, and All Is Dust is that card. I didn't really want to put out for Nevinrel's deck online. Apprentice Wizard, great card. It's blue ramp. I'm not going to say it's an MVP or anything, but it's really good. Unruly Sphere gets lands out of your deck, helps you draw spells. Also really good if you have 2 land on Unruly Sphere, you actually have 4. A Zombie Lady of Scrolls, I have the familiar in here, so you have to play the original. There's a nice amount of wizards in the deck, not enough to make her an auto-include, but she's there for aesthetic values. Brain Geyser, if you can draw 3 cards with the zombie out, you've already won. Bribery, one of the best sorceries blue can have for 3 and a blue and a blue. Search target opponent's library for a creature card, put that card onto the battlefield, then that player shuffles his or her library. It's great. There's a lot of Eldrazi running rampant in the multiplayer room, so it's nice just to be able to get an Emrakul out. Callous Oppressor, this is a little hidden gem. You basically play this, you choose an opponent, and they choose a creature type. Then you get to gain control of other creatures that aren't of that type, and it just ends up almost being broken for what it does. Capsize, return target permanent to its owner's hand with buyback. Has a weird interaction with cast through time. Don't cast the buyback on Capsize if you have cast through time out. You casted the buyback on the rebound. Just mentioning. Cast through time, picked it up in a Raziel Eldrazi draft. Instant sorcery spells you control have rebound. There's enough instants and sorceries where it becomes good. Chrome Soul Crab, exchange. Really important. It means that your opponent can't kill the crab and they can't get back the card you traded it for unless they kill that card. Clone. Its clone gets rid of legendary creatures and also just comes in as good creatures like Djinn of Wishes. I have a lot of library manipulation spells, so this guy just ends up being good. Condescend, one of the only counter spells I play. It's just that good, along with Draining Welk, which, if you saw the video, is a great card in itself. It ended up being a 7/7 flyer, and it countered a really important spell, so it did its job. Dreamstorm Hedron, you're going to hear this a lot in this video technology, but acceleration in blue is good, so that's why it's in there. Plus the drawing 3 cards later on is also awesome. Duplicant exiles creatures instead of destroying them, and it's creature kill in blue, so it's great. Apocryphite comes down as an early blocker, then comes back in 3 turns as a good beater, so it's awesome. Evac, Uation, return all creatures to their owners' hands at instant speed, really important in certain situations. Everflowing Chalice, when it comes into, it's another blue acceleration spell, and I just accidentally took it out of my deck. Evolving Wilds is, it gets a land out of your deck, which is perfect. Same with Expedition Map. This lets you get your Temple of the False God faster. Factor Fiction, another really great card. If you don't know what it does yet, just try playing with one and see how awesome you are. Fate Spinner, hidden gem in this deck, MVP. 1 blue for a 1/2 human wizard. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, the player chooses draw, main phase, or combat. That player skips each instance of the chosen step or phase this turn. It doesn't break games, but it makes games a lot harder for your opponents to win. Felwar Stone, acceleration. Halimar Depth, great card from World Wake. High Tide, another MVP in this deck. Whenever a player taps an island for mana, that player adds blue to his or her mana pool. It just accelerates out some nutty things. Hinder is specifically in the deck for generals. You can counter a spell, and you can put that card in the bottom of its owner's library. Homerid Spawning Bay, if you watched the video of the first one, you saw it take over the game. It's amazing. Inspiration, I'm sad that I'm playing this card. I'm basically just playing it because I have to. Into the Royal, it gets rid of non-land permanents, so make sure you don't only use this on creatures. Also draws you a card, which is great with Tomorrow out. Keep Watch is a Tomorrow Zombie Familiar card exclusively. If someone's attacking you with 6 tokens, or just attacking somebody else with 6 tokens, or you're attacking with 6 tokens, you can filter through the top 18 cards of your library for 3 mana. So it can get nutty. Kaiga is Kaiga is Kaiga is Kaiga. Lighthouse Chronologist, I've won games off the back of this guy in multiplayer format. He gets out of hand so fast that if they don't kill it, it's almost an auto-win. Lonely Sandbar, sometimes you need cycling. Luzon Scholar General, he's basically one of the best Thieving Magpie variants I could find. Horsemanship, I haven't found a person able to block Horsemanship yet, so it's just good like that. Moloku, the Clouded Mirror, 4 and a blue, Flyer, another wizard. Being able to return lands, especially when you don't have lands in your hand, is just sometimes awesome. I don't have landfall in the deck, which would make this broken, but it gets close sometimes. Mind Control, you control and train a creature, it's just good. Mind Stone, acceleration in blue decks. Mind's Eye, another MVP in the deck. It usually goes around unmolested, and it ends up just destroying the game. Mnemonic Wall gets back those awesome instants and sorceries. Mole Drifter draws you 2 cards and is an amazing target for one of the win conditions in this deck. When I find it, it's around here, I promise. Where is it? Rite of Replication. Rite of Replication, kicked, gives you 10 cards off a Mole Drifter, and you can get it back with Mnemonic Wall, which is over there. Pilgrim's Eye is again acceleration in blue decks. Platinum Angel, the ability is so relevant sometimes it's not even funny. Ponder is just a good card, good enough to be banned in Vintage. Proteus Staff gets rid of generals, puts our creature on the bottom of its owner's library, then they get to polymorph, if you know what I mean there. It's worth the risk. Relic of Progenitus, if you watched the video, you saw it take over the game almost. It's just great graveyard hate. Sometimes decks abuse the graveyard, this makes sure they don't. Reliquary Tower, sometimes you don't want to have a hand size. Repulse, returning target creature to its owner's hand and drawing a card, is an amazing, amazing, amazing card. I probably value this card too highly, but I think it's almost too good. Seagate Oracle is again card selection in a deck that wants it. It can almost be acceleration. I've kept 3 lands in Seagate Oracle hands way too many times to count. Sensei's Dividing Top, by the way, how this interacts with our friend Tomorrow, you get to draw the card first, so you don't have to pick the Sensei's Dividing Top from the 3 cards you draw. It's still on the top of your library. I'm not too sure about the Sphinxes. I'm really not too sure. I like Sphinx of the Lost Truce the most out of all of them, and Sphinx of Medosi can get pretty broken. Sphinx Bone Wand, I've won games off the back of this card. It works really well. Spin Into Myth, if you're playing blue, you need to get rid of generals, this is the best card to do it. It puts them on the top of the library, and you get to put them away at the bottom. Sun Droplet, people will get annoyed when you play this card, but it's worth it. Tectonic Edge is in there to just destroy those troublesome lands. Teferi, I've mentioned this before, but sometimes I run this deck as a Teferi deck just because it's a stronger general. It's beastly. Teferi's Puzzle Box, this card is great. It screws up other people's plans, and you get to filter through the top of your library when Tomorrow is out. Make sure you play it with Tomorrow out, or else you'll end up screwing yourself over. You always have 5 lands. Terramorphic. Thought Adele, I like her. If someone's not playing blue, she's kind of a blank sometimes, but usually you can get some broken artifacts, or you just exile artifacts from somebody's library. It works both ways. This is drawing 3 cards for 3 mana at instant speed, which is amazing with Tomorrow out, so I've never not played it. Tolarian Winds, broken with Tomorrow almost. At the end of someone's turn, you basically you discard your hand and you filter through the top 6 cards of your library. It's awesome. I can't say I don't like it. Traumatic Visions, it can either be land search or it can counter a spell. It's just good. Next we have Visuzen Shapeshifter. This is a great card. It's a clone effect, but you can switch your clone. It's really good. Almost running out of time here. Vexing Sphinx. It's 1 blue for 4/4 flyer. It beats, and when he dies, you get to draw the cards you get back. So I've played Vexing Sphinx, discarded a bit, played Tomorrow at the upkeep, just sack it, filter the top 4 cards in my library. It's really synergistic with this deck. And then Willbender. When Willbender's turn face up, change target to target spell or ability with a single target. This card has won me many a game before. Sometimes it's just nice to switch targets. And that's the deck. I know I probably went a bit too fast. If you have any questions about certain cards, or you're wondering why I'm not playing certain cards, let me know. I would love to explain why. And thank you for tuning in.